Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to start our playthrough of Beyond the Gates of Sleep. We have Tony and we have Luke. We are needing to check out these 70 steps, gain these 2 clues, and then get ourselves over to the Cavern of Flame. Here we have our round summary. So normally we'd start with the Mythos phase, but we skipped that for the first round. We'll jump right into the Investigator phase. We can determine which character we want to go first. I'm definitely going to have Luke go first so he can do some cluing to get rid of these clues, and then that will allow Tony to get into the Cavern of Flame. Looking at our hand, I think the first action we're going to take is to play our Holy Rosary. This will cost us 2 of our resources, so we don't have any left. We'll place this down underneath his card like so, and he now gets +1 to his willpower, so he's now a 5 instead of only a 4. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do for our next 2 actions, because we only get 3 actions a turn, we're going to do an investigate. So in order to investigate, we're going to compare, normally we'd compare our intellect to whatever we are trying to investigate, the shroud value, but because we're doing the investigate on Sixth Sense, this says investigate using your willpower instead of your intellect. And then if any of these symbols are revealed during this test, you may choose a revealed location connected to it. Well, we can't do that because there's no other revealed locations. So let's not worry about that. Right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a 1 or higher, because that's the shroud value of the 70 steps, and our willpower is 4 + 1, that's 5. You can see the shroud value is 1. Let's go ahead and grab from our bag, our chaos bag, and we get a 0. So we have 5 to 1. We've collected 1 clue. Great. We'll do that for our third action. We'll do the same thing. We'll try and investigate. And let's see, what do we get? We get a 0 again. Great. So 5 to 1, we've collected both clues. Now we've done all of our 3 main actions, but I think what I'm going to do is use our gate box. This is a free action, so we can exhaust the gate box and spend 1 charge, disengage him, and move him to the dream gate. Now you might be wondering, why am I doing this? Well, it's because I don't want him on that stairs location, because if I have him on there, we have to place 2 doom at the beginning of the next round. I only want to place 1. So he's going to be in here, and we should definitely be able to get Tony out of the 70 steps location. For Tony's turn, looking at his hand, I think the one thing he's going to play for his first action is Emergency Cash. It's just going to gain him 3 more resources, so he has a total of 5 resources back, ready to go. Then let's go ahead and do a move for our second action. I should have also mentioned when Luke moved out of the 70 steps, we needed to ensure that he did not have more than 5 cards in his hand. He only had 4 when he moved, so we're good there. So what we can do for action number 2 for Tony is move to this location, and the nice thing is we also have 4 cards in hand since we played that Emergency Cash. So that means we can flip over the Cavern of Flame, and we can go there because all the clues are removed from 70 steps. And we have, oh my gosh, that's a 9 forced. At the end of the Mythos phase, each investigator in the Cavern of Flames takes 1 damage. Ow. We now, though, get to advance the Act deck. We will flip this card. At the center of the cavern is a pillar of flame flanked by 2 robed, bearded men. You recognize this scene from the writings of Virgil Gray. The priests, the cavern, it is all just as he described. Either you have ventured into the same dreamscape, or you are sharing in his delusions. You must be tested, one of the priests says enigmatically. Your ordeal will be great, and thus so too will be your trial. Each investigator loses all their clues. Okay, so that means just Luke is going to lose the 2 clues that he had. Put the set-aside Noshed and Kaman Thaw enemies into play in the Cavern of Flame. Your slumber grows deeper. Add 1 skull token to the Chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. We'll place this skull token into our bag, and let's look at those 2 new enemies. They both are what we call aloof. That means they will not automatically engage us. They're sitting out there. We can interact with them by either engaging them or doing a parlay. If we do try and fight them, though, and we fail at our fight test, they retaliate and attack us back. This one does 1 physical damage. That one does 1 sanity damage. So this one, we can parlay, we can test our willpower or our intellect and get 2 or higher to prove that you are worthy to enter the Dreamlands. This test gets +1 for each investigator, so it's actually a 4. Ooh. If you succeed, flip Kaman Thaw over and resolve the test on the other side. If you fail, he attacks each investigator at this location. After you defeat Kaman Thaw, flip him over. Okay. This one is you test your might or your agility. Same thing, you get +1. Oh yeah, okay. I think we might want to deal with Noshed. So these 2 enemies are just going to sit in the Cavern of Flame, but they're not going to engage us. We can parlay as an action. That's what that arrow means. Let's go ahead and discard this Act 1 card, and now we have the Trial of Nasht and Kamantha. The barred golden gates beyond will not open for you. Only the priest can judge whether you are worthy to pass through to the steps below. They cross their weapons, a steel halberd and a silver scythe, in front of the gates. Do not draw cards from the encounter deck during the Mythos phase. If neither Nasht nor Kamantha are in play, immediately advance. So we do need to take care of both of them. Now I could, if I wanted to, place one of these bounties and as many as their health, so that'd be 3 for each on each of those enemies, if I wanted. That means, though, that I am going to kill them, not parlay, because if I parlay with them, I wouldn't get the benefit of this because I haven't actually killed them. So I think I'm going to hold on to my bounty contracts, and instead I'm just going to try and do the parlay. I'm going to try and do the parlay on Nasht. So I need to get a 4, and my combat is 5, so I'm thinking, although it's kind of sad to do this, I don't mind having less cards in my hand right now. I am going to use this on the hunt card. Now I'm not going to use this ability down here. I'm going to use the skill icons up here and add 1 to my combat. I can do this before I draw from my chaos bag. So right now I'm at a 6 compared to the 4. So I need to get less than a -2. If I can get -2 or less, I can succeed at this. We've got our bag here. Let's go ahead and shuffle them up, and we'll draw this one. That's a star. That gives us a +2, so we actually are going for an 8 compared to the 4. Place 1 bounty on bounty contracts. I will definitely do that. And I realize, you guys, I had this flipped on the wrong side. I should have 6 bounty contracts, not 5 to start with. Now I have 7. If you parlayed with Nasht, read the following. Your quest will lead to death, the priest foretells. Prove that you can survive what is to come, and I shall let you pass. Show me your weapon. You open your hands and reveal the first weapon that comes to your mind. Nasht slaps it out of your hand. That's not a weapon. Show me your true weapon. You think for a moment. What weapon could help you survive a place like this? Then the answer hits you. Plain as day. You point to your temple, and Nasht nods. Very well. Add this card to the victory display. We have one more action left. Looking at what we have in our hand, I think I'm going to put out the Tennessee Sour Mash. This is going to gain 2 supplies, and we can exhaust this to spend 1 supply and gain +2 willpower for our skill test on a treachery card. I really like that. Plus, we can also use it to get +3 for an attack, which is also nice. So that's going to cost us 3 resources. We have that, and I'll place this out with 2 supplies. That'll end our investigation phase. So then we look here and it says at the end of the investigation phase, set Dreamgate aside out of play. If Luke Robinson is here, move him to a revealed location. So I can move him to any revealed location. As much as I don't want to take the damage, I want the action advantage of not having to move to the Cavern Flame. Plus, I moved him out of the 70 steps specifically so that he wasn't there. So I think I'm going to move him to the Cavern Flame. Then we move to the enemy phase. Enemies with the hunter keyword move towards the nearest investigator. We have no hunters. And then each engage enemy attacks. The only one is Kamantha, and he's not engaged. Remember, he's aloof. He's sitting out there. We don't have to do anything with him. Finally, we'll go ahead and do our upkeep phase. We'll reset actions. We can flip our mini cards, which I forgot to flip in the first place. Ready all of our exhausted cards, so the gate box is ready. Each of us will gain 1 resource and draw 1 card. So for Luke, his 1 card will be Abounding Revelation. That's terrible. I don't want to draw this. I want this. I want to find this when I'm searching. So unfortunately, it's essentially a dead card to me. And then for Tony, let's see what he gets. He gets the Knuckle Duster. Ooh, that's a nice weapon. Finally, we make sure that no one has more than 8 cards. That's definitely not a problem. We'll move to that Mythos phase, and the first thing we need to do is place 1 Doom on the agenda. Unfortunately, I did not realize, you guys, but the Cavern of Flame is a steps location. That means we're going to have to place 2 Doom instead of 1. That's purely from the journey right here. This states that when Doom is placed on the agenda during the Mythos phase, if any investigators at a steps location, we have to place 2 Doom here. So we already have 2. So me moving Luke Robinson was totally useless. That's okay. I'm still learning a little bit of this deck and this scenario, so if I make poor decisions, sorry. Then we'd have to advance the agenda. That's not going to happen. Each investigator draws 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. We don't have an encounter deck, so we don't have to do that. And then at the end of the Mythos phase, we each will have to take 1 point of damage because we're at the Cavern of Flame. That means that Tony has 8 health left, and poor Luke Robinson only has 4 health left. Now, though, we can go back into the investigator phase. We're going to go ahead and start with Luke. We're going to do the parlay here. We're going to test our willpower. Our willpower is 5. We need to get to a 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to discard 2 cards. Ugh. I'm going to discard both of these to add 2 more of the willpower symbols. So that would give us a total of 5, 6, 7, 7 to the total of 4. Remember, I'm not using the card effects on these. I'm just using the skill icons. So a 6 to a 4. Let's see how we do. We'll grab from here. We got a -2. So our 6 goes down to a 4, which is great. 4 to a 4, we're good. Your mind is strong, the Guardian admits, but are you ready to shed your concept of truth, of reality? If so, alter your clothing. You protest out of confusion. This is a land of wills, the priest continues. If your resolve is truly strong enough, prove it to me. You close your eyes and imagine a different outfit, straining to recall its texture, its color, even its smell. Each and every thread of fabric. When you open your eyes, you are wearing it. Good, Common Thaw says, stepping aside. Add this card to the victory display. Sweet. That means we've completed our trial by Nosht, so let's go ahead and flip this. Satisfied that you are worthy to enter the Dreamlands, the priest steps aside to let you pass, and the gate beyond opens. Before you step through, one of them grabs you by the wrist and gives you a final warning. Your journey shall take you beyond the lands of the gods. The eye of chaos is upon you now. Follow the path, and you shall be safe. But beware, he tightens his grip. Stray not from the path. Each investigator loses all their clues. We didn't have any to begin with. Put the set-aside 700 steps, base of the steps, and the enchanted path locations into play. Your slumber grows deeper. Add another skull token to the chaos bag. So that's our 3rd one of those? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's our 3rd one. That's not going to be fun. We're going to have to keep our hand size low. Just so you can see, we will have to move from the Cavern of Flame to the 700 steps, which, by the way, is a steps location. Then we have to get to the base of the steps, and then we have to get to the enchanted path. When we're both in the enchanted path, we can move to the next location. I believe that's what we have. The final descent. Spiraling stairs descend below for what seems like an infinity. We still do not draw encounter cards, and yep, if each investigator is at the enchanted path, immediately advance. We've done our first action as Luke. Let's go ahead and do our second action and move to the 700 steps. This location has a shroud value of 2. When you leave the 700 steps, take 1 horror for each card in your hand in excess of 3. Well, right now we have exactly 3 cards in hand. Okay, so we've got 1 more action. I'm definitely going to try and get 1 of these clues. This is only a 2. We're at a total of 5 if we use our 6th sense. Let's see what we can do. We'll grab from our bag. We have even more skull tokens. And we get a 0. Jeez. I'll take that. So that's 1 clue for us. Now the question becomes, Tony only has an intellect of 3. So let's move him here for 1. And then, we might as well try. There's nothing terrible that's going to happen if we fail. So let's go ahead and try and get this. But it's a 2 to a 3. So yeah, I don't have any cards in my hand that can help the skill of investigating. We do have 3 cards in hand, so if I draw a skull, it's a -2, which will be a failure. Let's give these a good shake. Let's see, we get this, which is considered a -2, so that's going to make us fail. If you fail and this is an attack or an evasion attempt, it's not, so let's just go ahead and try again. Come on, Tony, you can do this. Last action, I believe in you. We get a 0. Perfect. That will give him that clue. I didn't explain this, but the reason why I needed both clues is this. You cannot enter the base of the steps unless all the clues on the 700 steps have been discovered. So we've discovered all of the clues there. We're good to go. So now, next round, we can go here. But you know what that means. We still have to deal with the enemy phase, which we can skip. We'll move to the upkeep phase. We can reset our actions, ready all our exhausted cards. We'll each gain our resources. We'll go ahead and draw cards. This one is for Luke over here, and he gets Mr. Rook. Yeah, here we go. That's awesome. And then for Tony will go ahead and grab his top card, and he gets Overpower, because that's what we need is more strength. We'll then move to the Mythos phase, and that simply means we place 2 more Doom onto the Journey Through the Gates. Once again, I think we're going to start off with Luke this round, but instead of having him do something, what we're going to do is first have Tony play this fast, swift reflexes. Fast. Play during any investigator's turn except during an action. So this is before an action. Immediately take an action as if it were your turn. This action does not count towards the number of actions you can take on your turn. So we're going to do that. We're going to spend 2 of our resources for it. That means we only have 3 cards. So when we move out of that location, we will not take any horror. That's why I wanted to do that. And it will reveal it and let us know, should it be something that Luke has to take care of or something that Tony needs to take care of. We'll move them from here to here, and let's check this out. So we're climbing down these blasted stairs, and we have Forced. After you enter the base of the steps, if you have at least 1 card in your hand, yeah, we have 3 cards in our hand, then we have to test our willpower X. Our willpower is 2. X is the number of cards in your hand, so I have 3 cards in my hand compared to the 2 of my willpower. That's not good. Then we have, if you fail, for each card in your hand, you must either take 1 horror or discard that card. We also have 2 clues here because there's 1 times the amount of investigators. And I just wanted to show you the enchanted path where we're trying to get to. We need to remove these clues before we can move to here. Well, I unfortunately have nothing in my hand to help me with a willpower test, and Luke is not in our location. He doesn't have anything he can do to help us, so we're just going to draw, and we get a -2. So that means we failed by 3, and I can either discard these 3 cards or take 3 horror. 3 horror would put us 2 away. I like the cards, but I think I need to discard them. So I'm going to discard my entire blasted hand for moving into that location. Not sure what else I could do about it, though. What this means, though, for Luke's turn is we know what we need to do. First thing we're going to do is do the free action here to choose and discard 1 card from our hand. We're going to discard this Astounding Revelation because, like I said, we can't even play that card. It was useless in our hand. Then we'll use our first action to move from the 700 steps over to the base of the stairs. Now we need to do our willpower test, but the thing is, we're going to use our Eureka card, so it's going to give us +1 willpower, but not only that, we will now only have 2 cards in our hand. So we're doing a willpower test of 2, and our willpower is 6, because our normal base of 5, plus the 1 on Eureka is 6. Oh, and we have 3 cards in our hand, so that means we don't lose 1 sanity because of leaving these 700 steps. This is a 6 to a 2. I feel pretty good about that. Let's draw this one. We get a -2. No problem. We succeeded. We have 2 more actions we can take. Let's see if we can get these 2 clues. Our willpower is 5, and if we use our 6th sense for our investigate, we're going to be doing a 5 to a 3. But if I reveal any of these symbols, I can actually use an adjacent location's shroud value, so I could use the 700 steps to shroud value if I wanted. Hopefully I can do that. Let's go ahead and draw from the bag. This is for action 2, and we get a +1. Well, great. That's definitely going to work for one of these clues. And then for our second one, we will draw from the bag, and we're going to get a skull, which is equal to half of the cards in our hand, rounded up. So it's a -1. We are at a 5. That's a 3. And plus we could use the 7 shrouded steps location of the shroud value of 2. We succeeded. So we've gained this clue. So that means this is going to allow Tony to move from this location, which is exactly what we wanted. Tony has no cards in hand. He's got 3 actions. He could take 1 to draw 1, but right now we're being penalized by having cards in our hand, so I think I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to spend my first action to move into the enchanted path. We can do that because there's no clues at the base of the steps. The enchanted path is connected to each enchanted woods location. I'm assuming we'll know what that means later. The enchanted path gets +1 shroud for each unrevealed enchanted woods location, and we can spend 3 actions. You do as you were told, but you feel as though you are missing something. Place 1 clue on the enchanted path from the token pool. Ooh, to gain us more ways of getting clues. I have no idea if we need clues. I don't know. So we've spent 1 action to move. Why don't we spend the next 2 drawing 2 cards? We'll do these 1 action at a time, so we'll draw this one. We get an Unexpected Courage. Oh, it just makes me think of Lord of the Rings. And then our second card, we get a Leo de Luca. That's great. This is an ally, and he gives us an additional action during our turn. I really, really want to put him out, but he costs, what, 5? Oh, I have the leveled up version. I've got to change that to the non-leveled up version. He's going to cost 6. Sorry, guys. I pulled the wrong one from my, from my set. There we go. That's better. Although it's not better because he's 6 resources instead of 5. But yeah, I have 2 already. That's going to take a bit to get to that. But if I can get him out, that would be awesome. Plus, he can soak 2 health and 2 sanity, which is super helpful for Tony. We've completed the investigation phase. We'll move to the enemy phase. There's no enemies on the board. We'll move to the upkeep phase, reset our actions. We're good to go there. Ready all exhausted cards. Each investigator gains 1 resource, so we now each have 3, and then we're each going to draw a card. So Tony is going to grab Calling in Favors. Ooh, that's going to be fun, especially when we get the Rook out. And then for Tony, we'll draw another Unexpected Courage. That's great. We'll then move to the Mythos phase, and then we'll place 1 Doom on the agenda, but Luke is still in a stairs location, so now we have 6 Doom out of the 19. Moving into that investigation phase, we'll start off with Luke Robinson. First thing we're going to do is spend our 3 resources that we have to put out Mr. Rook. He'll come out with 3 secrets. Then we can do a free action and exhaust him to spend 1 secret. Then we can search the top 3, 6, or 9 cards of your deck for any card and draw it. If at least 1 weakness is among the searched cards, draw 1 of them as well, and then shuffle your deck. So we're going to put him out. We're going to spend these 3 resources and put it right on him. And then let's go ahead and exhaust him, and we'll use this, and let's do 6 cards. I think that'll be good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what we can find. Remember, this is a free action. Oh, sweet. We found the astounding revelation. So this one says, when you search your deck, an astounding revelation is among the search cards, discard it. Either gain 2 resources or place 1 secret on an asset you control. And you can do that a max 1 time. So I'll discard this card. Let's see, I could put, this uses charges, but I could have put a secret right back onto Mr. Rook, which is great. That means we can use him again. Now, what do I want to put into my hand? Oh, David Renfield. Absolutely. I'm going to put him into my hand, and then I'll go ahead and put these back on top of my deck and give it a good shuffle. We've done 1 single action by playing Mr. Rook. We'll do our second action to move into the Enchanted Path. That means now we get to move our Act deck to Act 4. We'll flip our final descent. We're finally off those stairs. When you reach the base of the stairway, you find yourself in an otherworldly oak forest. The forest floor is thick with countless years of fallen leaves, and you are surrounded by glowing fungus of all shapes and sorts. The soil is pierced with gnarled roots, and the trees are strangled by invasive vines. A winding dirt path leads deeper into the woods. Each investigator loses all their clues. Man, I had 4 clues all set up. Your slumber grows deeper. Add another skull to the chaos can. Wow, that's another one. Remove each steps location from the game. Then randomly choose 6 of the set-aside enchanted wood locations to put them into play. Remove the other copy from the game. Shuffle all the remaining set-aside scenario cards except for the Laboring Gug and Randolph Carter to form the encounter deck. And now we're going to draw from it. Let's go ahead and place yet another skull into our chaos bag. I'm thinking Jim Carver would have been great for this scenario. Those are all 0s to him, I believe. If only. The path. All you have to do is stay on the path. Oh yeah, that's what we were told. Just stay on the path. After the first time any investigator enters an Enchanted Woods location, record in your campaign log the dreamer stayed from the path. Oh, strayed. Oh man, seriously? Objective. Only investigators at the Enchanted Path may spend the required number of clues as a group to advance. We need 10 clues, you guys, and we now have 0. Remember, this Enchanted Path is connected to every one of these Enchanted Woods. However, only the Enchanted Woods are connected to the Enchanted Path, at least for now, because you can see that down here. So we've got 1 more action. Let's go ahead and have Luke move to this one. Let's see what it is. Oh, and by the way, because we are moving to an Enchanted Woods, we now need to notate that we have strayed from the path. But I don't know what else we were going to do. So we have, when your turn begins, if you are at this location, reveal a random token from the Chaos Bag. If you reveal anything but a success or a number, take 1 damage and lose 1 action. Oof. And it's a 5. Now we'll end Luke's turn, so we'll flip him over. He's going to stay there. I don't think I want to use my gate box for that. I could use it during the enemy phase, so that way we didn't start off in here at the beginning of the next round, but I think I'll stay. Then I think I'm going to have, for Tony, let's have him go to this one. Well, this place is brutal. We're lost in the woods. It says, after you reveal this location, if you do not leave this location before the end of the round, place 1 doom on the current agenda. So From what I understand, this only will take an effect after you reveal the location. If I leave this location and I come back to it, because it's already been revealed, I don't have to worry about this. So because of that, and because of my lackluster, I only have 3 investigation, and I need a 4 here, I'm going to run back to the enchanted path for my second action. Well, so far, haven't found anything great yet that we can do. Maybe we can kill an enemy to get some clues. I don't know. Let's check out this enchanted woods, and we have, this one's called the Moon Tree. We might be able to handle this one, only a shroud value of 3, and we do have those unexpected courages with us. We have the 2 clues. It says, after you enter this location, you must either take 2 horror or lose all your remaining actions. I think I'm going to lose all the remaining of our actions, since we don't have any. So we'll definitely do that. That means, though, we'll end our turn. We'll then move to that upkeep phase. We'll reset our actions, ready all of our exhausted items. We'll each gain a resource. That will give 4 to Tony and 1 to Luke. So then we'll each draw 1 card. I'll have Luke draw another 6 cents into his hand. And for Tony will grab this card, and he has prepared for the worst. Our hand sizes are definitely less than 8. So then we'll go to the Mythos phase, placing 1 Doom. That will be our 7th Doom on the agenda. And then now we're actually going to draw encounter cards. So our lead investigator is Tony, so he'll draw first. We'll draw Tony's card first, and we have, what is this, a Stealthy Zoog. So this is spawn engaged with the investigator at your location with the lowest agility. Well, that's him anyways, he's the only one there. His prey is actually the lowest agility. His agility is 2. Alert, remember what that means. That means if you try and attack and fail, or you try and evade and fail, it will attack you back for 1 mental damage. And it's Swarming 1. So what is swarming? An enemy with the Swarming X keyword is actually a pack of enemies operating in unison. After you put an enemy with the Swarming X keyword into play, place the top X cards of your deck face down underneath the enemy as swarm cards without looking at them. The enemy they are underneath is called the host enemy. Each swarm card underneath the host enemy acts as a separate instance of that enemy for most purposes. Each swarm card has the same value and text as its host card. Each swarm card attacks separately when an enemy is attacked during the enemy phase, but you can, when you attack them, you have to defeat your face-down card first, so to speak, but damage does roll over. So you can see this is only 1 health. If I can deal 2 points of damage, I can do 1 to my face-down card I'm going to have to put underneath this, and 1 to the Stealthy Zoog. And the nice thing is, that card that I'm going to have to put underneath it, I will put at the bottom of my deck, so I don't actually have to discard it. It'll just be put here for now, and it'll be put at the bottom of my deck once I defeat it. So this will be engaged with Tony. And, ooh, I can do a bounty. I'm definitely going to do 2 resources on this guy, because then I'll have 6 resources, enough for me to play Leo De Luca. That was Tony's card. Let's go ahead and move to Luke's. Luke gets Prismatic Phenomenon. Revelation. Put Prismatic Phenomenon into play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions, draw, resource, or play, each round it costs 1 additional action. After you successfully investigate a location, instead of discovering clues, discard this. No. This is why you have Ward of Protection. This is fast. Play it when you draw a non-weakness treachery card. Cancel that card's revelation effect, then take 1 horror. So that will cost me 1 resource, but then I've gained my 3rd horror out of the 9 that I have. Let's go ahead and start with Tony this round. We're going to use Tony's 38 Long Colt. We're going to spend 1 ammo to fight, so I'm going to remove this ammo. We get +1 to our combat, so our combat right now is 6, and that's for each bounty on the attached enemy. Oh, actually it's 7, because he's got 2. This attack deals +1 damage. What's nice about that? This Stealthy Zoog only has 1 health, and then this face-down card has 1 health as well. So I need to do 2 points of damage. I should be able to do that. I only need to meet or exceed this 1. I don't think that should be a huge challenge. If this attack defeats an enemy with 1 or more bounties on it, place 1 bounty on the bounty's contracts, which is great. And then I can get that as resources. So I'm going to draw from my bag here. I'm going to grab a -2. That's totally fine. We were at, 5, 6, 7, -2 is 5. 5 to the 1, blew this guy out of the sky, and got ourselves 2 wonderful resources. This card does not have a victory point on it, so I'll just go ahead and discard it, and then this will go to the bottom of my deck. What's great is that I can say that I used my ability for that action, so that didn't even cost me a regular action. I also gain 1 of those bounty contracts back, so I have 2, 4, 5 on here. Oh no, I should have 6 because I gained 1. Yeah. So I have a total of 6 on here, which is great. I do only have 2 more ammo on this, on my Tony's 38 Long Colt. So then for my first action, 2, 4, 6, Leo De Luca is going to come down, which is great because he gives me an additional action. So I still have 3 actions, you guys. This means, though, it's time to do some investigating. I have 3 more actions. My intellect is 3. I will go ahead and use an unexpected courage here, which gives me 2 wild symbols. So I am committing a total of 5 to this 3. I'll grab from my bag here. Come on. And I get this, which is a -2. Perfect. That means I succeeded at collecting this clue. Let's do that again. I've got another unexpected courage. So it's 5 to a 3. Oh, come on. Come on. Give me something good. Give me something good. A -2. Beautiful. That means I've collected this one. So that means I have 2 out of the 10 clues. And at the end of the game, I will gain 2 victory points because I've cleared off the Enchanted Woods. Now I've done 2 actions. I have 1 more. So I think I'm going to move myself back to the Enchanted Path. I'll move myself right here. Now, something I forgot to do. We have, oh, when your turn begins. Oh, good. He hasn't had his turn yet. So I'll go ahead and flip him. And now comes the question. I could use my gate box so I don't start my turn there. Nah, let's just take the chance. So it states here, when your turn begins, if you're at this location, reveal a random token. So let me just grab one. I've got this one. Oh, of course, it's a skull. And that says, if you reveal a skull, take 1 damage and lose 1 action. So that's now our second point of damage. We only have 5 health, you guys. And now we only have 2 actions instead of 3. Regardless of how many actions we have, let's go ahead and use Mr. Rook again. We'll exhaust him, and let's draw 6 cards again. I feel like 9 is excessive. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just, you're begging to pick up a weakness. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. So we're going to have to do this weakness. I'll show you that in a second. But let's see. We get to choose one of these cards to put into our hand. Play during your turn. Choose a tome or spell asset you control, or reveal a tome or spell asset from your hand. Resolve an action ability on the asset, ignoring all costs. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Shiverings for attacking. Ooh, the Hawkeye folding camera. After the last clue is discovered from your location, place 1 resource on here and you can get in a different ability. Wow, these are actually pretty cool. The Storm of Spirits is for attacking, and this is for more investigation. We can get an additional clue. I think I'm going to grab Knowledge is Power. I'm going to put this one into my hand, but now we're going to have to do Detached from Reality. This states, if Dreamgate, Wondrous Journey is already in play, flip it over. It's not. Otherwise, search your bonded cards for the Dreamgate, Pointless Reality, and put it into play. In either case, disengage from each enemy that you're engaged with and move to the blasted Dreamgate. And here we have our Pointless Reality. It says, enemies and investigators other than Luke Robinson cannot enter here. After you successfully investigate Dreamgate, flip it. Forced at the end of the investigation phase, set Dreamgate aside, out of play. If Luke Robinson is here, move him to any revealed location. Cool, but he takes 2 horror. Not cool. Well, I think I'm going to have to just soak the 2 horror, because I don't think there's a chance I'm going to get over a 6 with my 6th sense, which I'm only currently at a 5 for willpower. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 of my 2 actions, because I only have 2, to gain 1 resource. Then I'm going to use that 1 resource, and I'm going to play it, Calling in Favors. This says, choose an ally asset you control and return it to your hand. Then search the top 9 cards of your deck for an ally asset and play it, reducing its cost by X. Mr. Rook costs 3. X is the cost of an ally asset returned to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So let's go ahead and use that 1 resource I just got to do this. Mr. Rook will then go back into my hand, and then I'm searching the top 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm really hoping for Rook himself. Sweet, there he is. So I found my other Mr. Rook. I'm going to go ahead and play him. He's free because the cost of the other Mr. Rook was 3. That's pretty awesome. And he'll come in with 3 secrets. Then why don't we go ahead and do what he does best and exhaust him. I'll use 1 of his secrets, so that way we can search the top. Well, now I've gotten rid of one of our weaknesses. Do I do 9? Yeah, come on. Let's be risky. Let's do 9. So, sorry, I'm just shuffling the deck up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, man. 9 cards. So I have a weakness? I don't. Okay, I can choose any one of these to put into my hand. Oh, that's amazing. So many good cards. Do I have anything to help me with investigation? I really want Dave Renfield out because he's going to give us +1 willpower, and we kind of need that. But I already have one of those in my hand, so let's go ahead and grab a ward of protection just because that can help us in a pinch. So that was Luke's 2 actions. Let's go ahead and exhaust them. Let's move to the upkeep phase. However, before doing that, I have to move Luke to a revealed location. I'm going to have him move here because it's more likely we can get those clues. And we have to take 2 horror. I'm going to have Mr. Rook take the 2 horror for us for leaving. That means he's defeated. That's okay. I've got another one in my hand. And that gives us some space for Dave Renfield. We'll move to that enemy phase. There's no enemies out on the board. Then we go to the upkeep phase, reset our actions, ready all exhausted cards. We each generated only 1 resource, so we each have 1. Then let's go ahead and draw cards. Luke has another Holy Rosary. And let's see about Tony. Tony has the Tennessee Sour Mash. We have 7 total Doom on Journeys Through the Gates. We've now just placed our 8th. Ugh. Now let's draw our encounter cards, starting with Tony. Tony will draw. He has Lost in the Woods, Surge. Each investigator at the Enchanted Woods location, he's at an enchanted path, so that doesn't happen to him. Each investigator at an Enchanted Woods location that will affect Luke Robinson needs to test Willpower 3. Each investigator who fails loses 1 action and takes 1 horror. Okay, so Luke Robinson is at a total of 5 for his willpower. Let's see what he draws. He'll grab this one, -2. I swear, I draw -2 all the time. That's 3. He's good. But this surges, so that's not even, doesn't even count. He will grab Somophobia. Test your willpower 5. For each point that you fail by, take 1 horror to a maximum of 3 horror. For the purpose of counting icons, you can count books and strength or combat and agility icons as matching, and willpower and question mark icons as 2 matching. Well, I feel like it's a good as time as any to use a little bit of our Tennessee Sour Mash. So we'll spend 1 supplies. We get +2, so we have a total of 4 willpower. And then let's go ahead and discard the Tennessee Sour Mash we just drew for another 2. So that gets us 6 compared to the 5. Okay, draw from the bag. Let's see what we get. We get a 0. Wow, I will take that. Take that, you Simophobia. So that was for Tony. Now let's see what Luke gets. Luke gets a Zoog Burrow. Test your agility 3, which his agility is 3. For each point you fail, add 1 swarm card to the nearest Zoog enemy. If you fail and there are no such enemies in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Zoog enemy, draw it, and shuffle the encounter deck. I feel like it's as good as time as any to keep using our Ward of Protection here. We'll spend the 1 resource we have, and that will be our 4th horror that we've taken, but we've just canceled this card. Great. During the investigation phase, we'll start with Luke. We're going to go ahead and discard this Holy Rosary. We're using the willpower here to make us a total of 6. We're going to try and investigate this with our 6th sense. So we're using our willpower. We're at 6 to the 4. Come on, come on. Oh, we've got a skull. You know what's nice? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in hand. That's why I wanted to do this. That means that's a -2, 4 to 4. A tie goes to the investigators. Awesome. So then we're going to do the same thing we just did. We're going to use knowledge as power. So we're going to use our willpower token there, or skill card there. So that's 6 to 4. Come on. And we've got another one of these. We're now only at 3, which still means it's 2, -2, 4 to 4. We're good. 2 more victory points, and now we have 4. Yeah, we have 4 out of the 10 clues. Our final action for this round is we'll go ahead and just generate 1 resource. That way we can pay for David Renfield next round. We have ourselves 2 clues each. That's a total of 4. We can try and get this one. Man, that 5 is going to be brutal. But I think I'm going to have Tony try out a new location. Let's try this one. What is this called? The Great Stone Circle. After this location is revealed, spawn the set-aside Laboring Gug at this location. Okay, here's our Laboring Gug. It's automatically going to engage Tony because it's at the same location that he is at. It's not aloof. It's a hunter. What that means is if he did try and run away from him and he was not exhausted in a future round, he would move 1 space towards the investigators. Now, this one says it cannot enter the enchanted path, just so that we know. And I'm going to place some bounties on this guy. 2, 4. I'm going to place 4 bounties on him, and you'll see why. Because His combat level is 5, and we only have... Yeah, we only get to take 2 pot shots at this guy. We only get 2 actions. Oh, wait, no. Because we now have bounties on him, we get 1 free bounty action. Oh, plus we have Leo De Luca. So we have 4 total actions. We've only used 1. We have 3 regular actions left, plus we have now our bounty action for 4. So we still have 4 actions. We're going to go ahead and use our bounty action, so this doesn't count as our regular 3 actions that we have remaining. And we're going to use our Tony's 38. We are going to attack. This is going to deal +1 damage. Our strength is +1 for each bounty on the attacked enemy. So right now we're even Steven at 5 and 5, but because we have 4 of our bounties on this, we're actually a 9 strength compared to the 5 on him. And this will deal 2 points of damage. So it will reveal a -1 for that first attack. So we just dealt him 2 points of damage. His total health though is 5. We've used 1 regular action and our 1 free bounty action. Now what we're going to do is use our second action. We're going to discard the Tennessee Sour Mash. Fight. You get +3 for this attack. So our attack is 5 plus the 3 is 8. This will only deal 1 point of damage though, but that's all we need, hopefully. Oh, we got a star! That's going to be a +2, and we get to place a bounty token back onto our bounties contracts. Unfortunately, though, that means this Tennessee Sour Mash is discarded, but 3 points of damage. We only need 2 more, which we should be able to do with our Long Colt. As long as I don't draw the auto-fail, which so far, you guys, the drawing has been amazing. Let's see. Okay, a skull. We only have 1 card in hand, so it's a -1. We definitely killed him, and because we did that with this, we get to put 1 of these tokens back onto the bounty contracts. So we're back up to 4 on there, but my ammo is out on my weapon. However, we do get 4 beautiful resources, and this enemy is a victory enemy, so we'll put that in the victory display. Take that, you laboring gug. Now, let's make sure I've got my actions right. So we went action 1 to here. Free action to attack him 1 time, so that doesn't count. Then our second action was to attack him with our Long Colt. Then, oh no, that was our free action. So our second action was to throw the Tennessee Mash. Then our third action was to use Tony's 30 Long Colt to take him out. So that's 3. We have 4 total actions because of Leo De Luca. So I have 1 more. I could try and investigate, but I think I'm going to play my prepared for the worst. It's going to cost us 1 resource to do this, but we can search the top 9 cards of our deck for a weapon asset and add it to our hand. I need to do that because I don't have a weapon anymore. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9. There better be a weapon in here. We've got, okay, that's a weapon, right? Yep, weapon, an 8. Oh, the Knuckle Duster is a weapon. Okay, so these are our 2 weapons that we have. This one uses ammo. You get +2 for the fight. If you exceed by 2 or more, this deals +1. This one, the attack, it deals +1 damage, but the enemy gains retaliate. But this doesn't have ammo. I'm going to go for the Knuckle Duster, I think, just because I like the fact that it doesn't have ammo. So this will be in my hand. I won't get to play it till next round. Overall, I'd say that was a successful turn. We gained 2 more clues. We were able to defeat that enemy, and gaining the 2 clues in that location should be pretty easy with a shroud value of 1. I think I'll have Tony take care of that. Hopefully he can do it at a 3. I think he can. So yeah, overall I'm happy. Moving to the enemy phase, nothing. Upkeep phase. We'll ready everything. Then we each will gain resources. That will give Luke 2, which is exactly what we wanted, and Tony will have 6 beautiful resources. We'll each draw a card. Luke gains the, oh yes, the Hawkeye folding camera. Awesome. And then we have for Tony, he will gain Steadfast. While you have 5 or more total remaining health and sanity, this gains 2 additional icons. And if you have 10 or more, it gains actually 4, which is awesome. Now though, let's go ahead and move to the Mythos phase. We'll be placing our 9th Doom here. We'll start off with Tony. Tony will draw this card, and we have Law of Yggdrath, Discord, Peril and Hidden. So Peril means that we can't have help from Luke if he could help, but he couldn't help anyways. Hidden would mean if I was playing this actually cooperatively, I wouldn't be able to tell Luke what's going into my hand, but I'm going to be telling myself. So secretly add this card to your hand. Oh great, one of those ones. You cannot commit cards to skill tests with an odd number of total skill icons on them. Discard a player card with an even number of total skill cards from your hand. Discard this card from your hand. Yeah, I mean, of all the things, that's not terrible. Okay, now we're going to do Luke. Luke gets Obscuring Fog. Attached to your location, limit 1 per location. Attached location gets +2 Shroud. That's great. We've already done the Enchanted Woods. Yes! To start us off this round, let's go ahead and work with Tony first. Let's see if he can get rid of those 2 clues. If he can't, we can always have Luke come over there and help him finish. And maybe we can throw the Hawkeye folding camera down to get +1 to our willpower as well. So let's start with Tony. He has to get a 1 or higher. We're currently at a 3 for our investigate. We'll grab from our bag here, and let's see what we get. We get a skull. We have 3 cards in hand, so it's a -2. 3 minus 2 is 1. That still works. Great. And then let's do it again for our second action. Come on. Let's see. We get a -2. That works. 3 minus 1. Wow. 3 minus 2 is 1. You guys, this is awesome. And then we'll spend our third action simply just moving back to the Enchanted Path because we will need to move to another location next time. Okay, for Luke, so Luke has to move 1 to move the Enchanted Path. Now, we could go here, but that's a 5, and this ability sucks. So let's try a new one, because we can leave 1 location we don't explore, and I actually have quite a bit of time. So I'm going to do it. So I'm going to move action 2. Oh, it's a question of, do I want to play Dave Reinfield first or Renfield? But then I can't do anything there. Just in case I have to do something there, let's do action 2. Let's move to this one. This one's called the Village of Zoogs. Ugh. This has a forced effect. After a Zoog enemy with the Swarming X keyword spawns in this location, add 1 additional swarm card to it. Not bad. I think let's go ahead and just investigate it. We're at a 5 to a 3, and mostly we're getting 2s. We've got 4 cards in hand, so it's going to be a -2. I think that's really all we're going to get is a -2, and that's a 0. That's great. So that gave us 1 of these clues. Then what I can do next round is I can drop this down, get the final clue, and then I can put out a token on here to give us +1 willpower. That's awesome. That, of course, is assuming nothing terrible comes out of the Mythos deck, but so far we've handled it. Of course, we've negated 2 of them. That's part of the reason. No enemies. Move to the upkeep phase. We've readied everything. We've generated resources. Luke has 3. Tony has 2, 4, 6, 7 beautiful resources. We didn't even play our Knuckle Duster. Oh, I should have thought about that. Oh, well, I didn't. Because we could have done that instead of moving. Well, whatever. We'll draw our cards. We'll start with Luke. Luke gets another Calling in Favors. Ooh, that could be fun. And then we have, for Tony, if I can grab the card from his deck, we have Contraband. Choose an asset controlled by an investigator at your location. Double the number of ammunition or supply tokens on that asset. Oh, if only I had any on my Tony's 38 Long Colt. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll place that 10th Doom here, 4, 8, 9, 10. We still have 9 potential rounds. That's really not bad. We'll move to drawing our encounter cards. We'll start with Tony. Tony gets an enemy, of course, when he doesn't have his Knuckle Duster out. Prey, most cards in hand, but that does not matter because he is going to automatically engage Tony. If Tony and Luke were in that same location and Prey was here, he'd actually go to, well, Luke. Well, actually, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, most cards in hand, yeah, it would go to Luke. And that's also something to note if we do try and run away from him and he is a hunter. That means he's going to be moving around. If he did that, then what would happen is he would go towards Luke, if possible, if there was ever a tie. Also, massive. A massive enemy is considered to be engaged with each investigator at the same location as it. Also, a massive enemy does not move with an engaged investigator who moves away from the massive enemy's location. And then if an investigator fails a combat test against a massive enemy, no damage is dealt to the engaged investigator. So it's not retaliate, it's just massive. It means it's going to control that whole area. I am going to put the Crawling Mist here by the Enchanted Path where it is, but we have to remember it is still engaged with him. It's just engaged with any investigator that's at that location. That's why I put it here instead of in his threat area. We'll flip our encounter card for Luke, and he gets the Law of Yggdrath, Chaos. Secretly add this card to your hand. You cannot play cards or trigger abilities on player cards with an odd printed resource card or cost. Discard a player card with an even printed resource cost from your hand, and then we can discard this. Ugh. We're going to start off with Luke this round. We're going to do the action of that blasted card in our hand. The reason we want to do this is because we want to use the gate box, and the gate box is a card that has an uneven number on it, so we wouldn't be able to do that if we had this still in our hand. So discard a card with an even printed resource cost from your hand, and we can discard this card from our hand. So we're going to discard David. Yeah, we just got him. We're not even going to use him. We're going to discard him, but that means we'll get rid of this in our hand. So that's action 1. Action 2, we're going to go ahead and play the Hawkeye folding camera, and this is after the last clue is discovered from your location, place 1 resource from the token pool on this card as evidence, limited once per game at each location, and you get, if you have 1 or more evidence, you get +1 willpower, 2 or more, you get +1 intellect, and 3 or more, you get +1 sanity, which is kind of cool. Our third and final action, we're going to use our 6th sense here to try and investigate this enchanted woods. We need a 3 or more. Our total willpower right now is 4 + 1 from the Holy Rosary, so that makes us at a 5. And it hurts to do this, but I think I'm going to use Mr. Rook to give us 6. I just want to be safe. I'm going to draw from our Chaos bag, and we get a -2. 6 - 2 is 4. Beautiful. We got this this clue. That means we only need 2 more clues left, and that also means that we get to place 1 resource on the Hawkeye folding camera, and now we have +1 willpower. Finally, we'll use our gate box here, spend 1 of the resources and exhaust it, so it's spending a charge, and we're going to move ourselves to the Dream Gate. That means at the end of this investigation phase, we can move to any revealed location. I'm going to have Tony run away from that crawling mist and reveal that final location, and then that will help us know where Luke should go. Now, normally, this crawling mist, if we just tried to move to another location, this enemy would follow us because it would be in our threat area. The advantage for us is he's massive, so that means we can go ahead and move out of his space over here to the Enchanted Woods, but he will attack us for 1 physical and 1 sanity damage. We'll place both of those on Leo De Luca since he's got 2 of each. We found the stone trapdoor. While you are investigating this location, it gets +1 shroud for each card in your hand. We currently have 4 cards in our hand, so this is a 6, so we don't want to do this. But Luke only has 2 cards in hand, so I think it'll be great for him to go here and to try his luck to get the last 2 clues. However, for us, we're not going to do that. We're going to get ourselves ready to take on that crawling mist, because that crawling mist is a hunter, so it's going to move to try and engage us. Remember that we have Leo De Luca with us, so we have 4 total actions. Action 1 was moving. Action 2, we're going to discard a player card with an even number of total skill icons from your hand, and then discard this card. So we're going to discard this Contraband. It has 2 skill icons to get rid of the Law of Yggdrasil. Then we're going to go ahead and throw down our Knuckle Duster. This will cost us 2 resources. It simply gives us +1 damage when we attack, which is nice. Our combat right now is at a level 5. Now, as crazy as this might be, I'm going to actually have Tony go back into the Enchanted Path, and then he's going to be engaged with this blasted Crawling Mist. But the reason is the Crawling Mist is a hunter, and his prey is the most cards in hand. Luke will have the most cards in hand, so you actually go and engage Luke, and we don't want that. So he only attacks for 1 physical and 1 mental. We can soak that another time. Let's stay here, keep him here to attack us, instead of having to worry about poor Luke getting him. We've finished that investigation phase, now we move to the enemy phase. Enemies with the hunter keyword would move, but the crawling mist doesn't need to move. It's going to attack. It attacks with 1 physical and 1 mental, and I think Tony's just going to take that on the chin. He already has 1 damage, so we'll make that to 2, but that's fine. 1 sanity damage, he still has 4 left. I did almost forget that we needed to move Luke to the stone trapdoor location, which is what our plan was, so I'm going to move him here. That should have happened at the end of the investigation phase. So we've completed the enemy phase. Let's go to the upkeep. That's when we each get to draw cards. So Luke will draw Shriveling, great for attacking, and then for Tony will draw Tony's Query, Spawn, the location farthest from Tony Morgan, aloof. After Tony's query enters play, place 1 Doom on it, then place 1 resource on it from the token pool as a bounty. Oof. Well, the furthest location from Tony is only 1 location away. I'm going to place him at the village of Zug, over here where no one is. Yeah, he's got another Doom, but that's okay. We actually have a lot of space left on the Doom track, so I'm not terribly worried about that. We'll each generate resources. Luke will gain his 2nd one, and Tony will go back to having 6 resources. We'll move to that Mythos phase, placing another doom. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus the 1 on Tony's query, so that's 12. We're not at 19. Whew. Okay, let's draw our encounter cards. We'll start by drawing for Tony, and he gets an Ancient Zoog, spawn any Enchanted Woods location unrevealed if able. They're all revealed, so we get to choose. He's aloof. At the start of the enemy phase, if Ancient Zoog is ready, add 1 swarm card to each swarming Zoog enemy in play. Oof. Let's go ahead and put him in this Lost Woods location, just because I don't ever plan on going there. Let's go ahead and reveal our card for Luke, and Luke gets Deeper Slumber. That does not sound good. Put Deeper Slumber into play in your threat area. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 3 and is checked after each time you draw 1 or more cards. That's not bad. Our hand size is 8, 7, 6, 5. We only have 3 cards in our hand. We can sleep all we want. Let's move into that investigation phase, and I think Tony is going to try and take out this Crawling Mist first, because if we do, we get another victory point. And I am a glutton for victory points. So we're using our Knuckle Duster. That means we don't get to increase our attack. Our attack is only 5, our combat. We have to get a 3 or higher, but if we do damage, we get +1. However, if we fail, we're basically saying, come on, bring it, little mist. And so he is going to attack us back, which he normally wouldn't if we failed. So let's see what we get. We are at 5 to 3. We draw this. That's a +2, you guys. I've drawn 3 of these. That is insane. So we're going to get +2 on that. That also gives us another bounty. So that'll put us at 5 bounties. That is, wow. I mean, I've been so incredibly lucky. This will not last during this campaign. There's a -2, so that would put us at a 3 to a 3, so we're good. And then for good measure on our last one, we're going to use Steadfast here for our 3rd action. And that because our total health and sanity is more than 10, because we have 7 health left and 4 sanity left, so that's 11, we get to add 2 fist icons to this attack. So normally we're attacking with 5. This time we're attacking with 7. 7 to 3. Bring it, Crawling Mist. Bring it. -1. Done. Now, I didn't even read this to you because it didn't matter. I don't have any of these cards in my hand anymore. But we would have to increase the difficulty for you to attack or evade the Crawling Mist by 1 for each card in your hand that has an encounter card back. We didn't have any. We don't have any cards in our hand anymore. The nice thing is, this Crawling Mist is now a victory point for us. We're moving to Luke's turn. Now, from how I understand the rules, I cannot just throw cards into here if they don't have the symbols that we need for skill checks. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a basic investigate action. That's using only my 3 intellect, but I'm going to use calling in favors and 6 Sense for 5 to make it 5. That means I have 1 card left in my hand, Shriveling. And that means while you are investigating this location, it gets +1 shroud for each card in your hand. So it's a 3 to a 5. Okay, for this first action, let's go ahead and see what we get. I will draw this, which is great. I only have 1 card in hand, so we subtract 1. 5 minus 1 is 4. 4 to the 3. We're still greater or equal to the Enchanted Woods here. We've gained that 1. Now, we'll go ahead and use our 6 Sense for this second one. Now, this will be a 2 plus 1 is 3, but our total willpower is 4 plus 1 from the Holy Rosary plus 1 for the Hawkeye. That's 6. 6 to 3. We'll draw from the bag, and we get an auto fail. Oh, that stinks. That was action 2. Oh, man. Okay, well, nothing bad happens. It just means we have to last another round. Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't. I have 1 more gate box. Okay, I think this works, you guys, if we can get this. So I'm going to spend my 3rd action to do this. I better not get that auto fail. -1. Great. Now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I can do this. I've collected that clue. Now, what I need to do is get to the Enchanted Path. If I'm at the Enchanted Path, both of the characters there, and I have the required clues, we advance. I can do that at any time. It doesn't have to be during the investigation phase. Is that right? I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong. But what I'm going to do, and I'm going to say that I can do this, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I have 1 more charge on my gate box. So I'm going to use that, and that means I'm going to jump from here to the gate box. Then, at the end of the investigator phase, I will have to be pushed over to another location. That location just happens to be the Enchanted Path. And, since we're at the Enchanted Path, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from Luke, and 1, 2, 3, 4 from Tony. That's a total of 10. Looking here, only investigators at the Enchanted Path may spend the required number of clues as a group to advance. Now, you guys let me know if I can't do this here. I think I can. I'm just going to do it. I don't think it'd make a huge difference anyways. We wouldn't lose. We would place another doom. If we had enemies on us, we could just do it right at the beginning of the next phase. So I'm just going to do it now. As you near the edge of the wood, more of the rodent-like creatures emerge, swarming out of burrows and honeycombed trees. Soon, the whole forest is alive with them. They surround you and chitter in a language you somehow understand.
Intruders! They're with the cats! New dreamers! No, they followed the black cat, but the black cat is not here. We are many, they are few.
Several of them emit low growls as they begin to close in. Just then, you hear a human voice call out, "What is the meaning of all this?" The owner of the voice is a blond young man with an unfazed expression. He is flanked by a pack of angry cats, each of whom falls into step beside him, save for one scarred old cat who takes the lead. You realize that the man speaks not to you, but to the creatures all around you, who slink backwards as they are scolded. Then, to your ever-growing surprise, the scarred cat speaks. "Your tribute is late." The investigators must decide. Step back and watch this surreal scene play out. Interrupt the scarred cat and handle this for yourself. Interrupt a black cat that's talking in your dreams. That seems like a stupid idea. I'm going to go ahead and do the R1. What do you guys say? The creatures chitter among themselves, and after a moment, a dozen of them retreat in the direction of the great tree beyond the beaten path. They return shortly afterward, carrying a variety of grouse, quail, and pheasants in their mouth. You're almost certain now that you are going crazy. And yet, the spectacle continues. The creatures timidly drop their tribute of birds in front of the cats and quietly depart. "My apologies on behalf of the Zoogs," the man says as he approaches. "They are curious creatures and not usually so agitated. It is good that we showed up when we did." The leader of the cats jumps on a tree stump and adds, Yes, them vile Zoogs have done their part. Now let's do ours and leave this forsaken place. What say ya?" You cannot contain your excitement. Zoogs, talking cats, everything you have read is real. You begin to ask the man more about this world, but he cuts you off. "I will explain in due time. For now, we must follow the path to the town of Ulthar. It's a safe place, relatively speaking. There you may recover from your travels." He turns to the old scarred cat and utters a word in an odd language, a password of sorts, you suspect. And the cat replies with a quick nod. The rest of the cats, tribute in mouth, take a protective circular formation around you, and together you escape from the eaves of the enchanted forest. In the campaign log, record the cats collected their tribute from the Zoogs. Any one investigator may choose to add Randolph Carter, the card 59, to their deck. This card does not count towards their investigator's deck size. And we earn victory points equal to the cards in our victory display. If you're playing the Dream Quest and the Web of Dreams as an interconnected 8-part campaign, of course we are, and you've not played Scenario 1B, The Waking Nightmare, proceed to that scenario. So that's where we'll move to. For this scenario, we earned a total of 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 victory points. Yeah, I've heard that you get a lot more XP in these ones because you only play 4 scenarios. So with these specific investigators, because our next one will play with the other 2 investigators. I kind of like that. I like seeing your deck level up pretty quickly, so I am excited for that. Oh, this was fun. This was a pretty straightforward scenario. I was actually thinking a shoe would fall somewhere, and I felt like this is a pretty standard startup for a scenario, not totally out of the ordinary. I also felt like it was actually more easy than I was expecting, but that also has to do with the insane drawing from this bag. I think I drew the Elder Sign 3 times from here. I never even saw the Cultist token, or the -3, or the -4. Maybe the -3 ones? I can't remember, but yeah. I think drawing from this bag, thank you, Monica, for making this, definitely made it a little bit easier overall. But yeah, let me know what you guys think for upgrades. I do think, I don't know if all scenarios are going to need that much investigation, but I'm feeling like Tony might need something. I don't have anything to boost his investigation, maybe even just some flashlights. I don't know, it seems like a terrible waste. I know charisma I'm going to get for each. Oh, I should show you the new card. Here we have Randolph Carter. Look at this, 3 health, 2 sanity. That's great. You get +1 strength and +1 agility. That's not a question. That's going to Tony. Not a question. And then after that rock symbol is revealed during a skill test at your location, you can exhaust him to draw 2 cards. Plus, look at those awesome symbols. We're definitely going to have Tony take him. That's not a question. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being part of our community. I really appreciate it. So does Mike. So does Steve. So does Peter. So does Bernd. We love all of you guys being here, and I hope you'll join us next week on another Arkham Horror playthrough. I'll catch you at the next stop.